Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Miss Fin Show. I am your host, Miss Fins. Thank you so much for having me. I am so happy to have you guys over here. This is super exciting, obviously, as you guys can see from the thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special guest tonight. This awesome human being, not only does he give you the news every night, every sports news every night, he's the main sports anchor for WSVN Channel 7 News if you're from South Florida. So you know him as the awesome, very impressive, and always well dressed Mr. Josh Moser.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh man, thank you again for coming through.
Of
I
course.
appreciate you so much. I'm loving that Jordan jersey. The true goat. So
Oh, yeah. We don't. The
exactly,
LeBron people can go bye bye. I know we played here in South Beach, but there's no argument to be had. But we'll save that for a different show.
exactly. So Josh, again, thank you so much for coming to. Appreciate it. You were literally just live on Channel 7. I was like watching you, and then I'm like, he's here. Like this is awesome.
Magic.
Oh, exactly. I mean, the magician, what can I say? But listen, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button, share, subscribe. Also, too, go follow him on all social media so you can get all the up to date information. You absolutely are going to get the nothing but the best from this awesome human being. And Josh, we've met plenty of times. We've had lots
Yeah.
of fun together. So I'm glad we finally got you in here. But listen, I need your insight. You're
Okay.
in there, you talk to the guys. Tell us, after this awesome win versus the Patriots, our divisional opponents, seeing where we're at, post Tua coming back, we're going to talk about what we saw from yesterday and also a projection of what, perhaps what maybe we can do to get into the playoffs and also if we do get that opportunity to do so. So talk to me about yesterday's game. What was your biggest takeaway that you saw
Biggest
yourself?
takeaway was that was the best offensive performance that we've seen from the Dolphins. I know the game before against the Raiders, they didn't punt the ball. However, this was the most crisp Tua has looked. Obviously, the 4 touchdowns was incredible. You had 24 points in the first half, but just to finally get Jalen Waddle involved. Jonnu Smith has been spectacular in this 2 game stretch, 3 touchdowns. He is arguably a top 5 tight end in the league in these past 2 games, if not a top 3 tight end. Certainly over this stretch, he's playing his best football of his career. And I think this is really because Mike McDaniel and Tua are finally in sync. They figured out the play calling situation with how defenses are playing them with this, too high shell look. And we've seen them evolve. And this is what we wanted to see from the Dolphins. Now, all of that is phenomenal on this 3 game winning streak. But
Hmm.
again, we're talking about the Raiders at home, and we're talking about the Patriots at home these last 2 games, going to Green Bay, who is 8-3, who has the best record remaining on the schedule, and to go play in conditions and at Lambeau Field. I covered the Packers for 5 years, so I know it very, very well. So
Ooh,
perfect timing to have this on
firsthand,
the
you
show.
know what it is to be cold like that.
So it's going to be completely different. Now, as of right now, no snow is expected. So we're not going to see anything near what we saw in Kansas City during the playoff game. However, little things like cleats, and there are things that the Packers use to their advantage, and there are no former Packers on this team. So it'd be nice to make some phone calls to some friends and say, like, hey, what'd you do? What'd you wear when you were in Green Bay? Because these guys are going to be trying on all sorts of layers, sorts of gear. And then if you're a Green Bay Packer wide receiver, you can never wear sleeves. So it's a toughness thing, but it's going to be chilly. Damn sure Jalen Ramsey's going to be in some sleeves. And man, what a season he's having. He's continues to be special, worth every dime that they paid him. And we're going to find out a lot about this team. But I know we'll get into it in a moment. But going back, just kind of wrapping up the other game. I mean, to pitch a shutout in the first half, I know that there were a couple of
Hmm.
bad plays there. And one's on Skylar Thompson. I love how Mike McDaniel got that entire unit out of the game. Said, hey, you're not ready. Like, you got to go. And that's something that we hadn't seen before. Normally, he would put them back out there. So the accountability has changed on this team. And I think the other bright spot of the game is Chop Robinson is finally coming on. This is a huge thing for this team. Jalen Phillips was a big loss, but now the Chop first round pick is finally showing up. This is phenomenal. It's huge, especially if Bradley Chubb can somehow come back. We do not know how far away he is, so we'll have to kind of wait and see on that. But Zach Sealer and Calais Campbell up front, we found out yesterday that a lot of teams wanted Calais at the trade deadline. And Mike McDaniel was the one that shut it down, said, hey, no, we still got a chance. We need to keep him here. So I'm really happy that they did that. But, so you're saying there's a chance if anybody watched Dumb and Dumber back in the day. Yes. That's kind of where we're at right now. But to go from 2-6 to 5-6, it's exactly what you want. And we're seeing a lot of players trend in the right direction. Something that we really got to watch and pay attention to is we know that Anthony Walker's out. So he's got that hamstring injury, and he's been phenomenal. He's replaced David Long with the team cut. I mean, you cut a captain in the middle of the season. That's unprecedented. Luckily, he caught on with the Lions. Good for him. But Anthony Walker was playing so well. So Dodson had the interception. They brought him over from Seattle. He's going to be key because he's the player that wears the communication helmet. So Jordan Brooks did that a little bit this last game. So when it's cold and you're on the field a lot because they're going to run the ball, it's going to be very interesting this week. And then, we'll see if Fuller can come back off the concussion protocol. We don't know. And because when Kader Kohu plays in the slot, this defense is so much better. And we haven't seen enough from Cam Smith yet. So there's a lot of pieces. You hope that Jordan Poyer can play well. He's kind of up and down. So
a little too agent for us, especially that Bills game.
Yeah. So, bad game against the Bills. But again, you're playing a different level of competition. Matt LaFleur, the head coach of the Packers, and Mike McDaniel, good friends. They were back on that Washington staff together. They talk weekly. And, you want to find out, as Tua said, get rid of the narrative, that you can't beat, 500-plus teams, playoff caliber teams, and you can't win in cold weather. Here's a chance to do both. So team's in a great spot. They've got all of the momentum, if you will. And, man, how cool is it as a fan? You get to watch this Thanksgiving night, prime time, Thanksgiving. This is as big as it gets, as far as the NFL is concerned. I think that they were hoping that the Packers and the Dolphins had a little bit better records. But 8-3 for the Packers, pretty good. Did not expect the Dolphins to be 5-6. So this game will be very telling. But I mean, before we dive into it, though, let's just put the Dolphins fans at ease. If you lose this game, the season is not over. So, take a breath. Again, this is not must win. So just, the Texans losing helps. You're going to see them. You're going to see the Jets twice. The Browns somehow.
Oh, I think we lost him. He probably got a phone call. Let's see here. He was scrolling so well. He was just shooting from the hip. We'll give him a minute to go ahead and come back. You're back?
No.
What happened? No. Technical difficulties.
Holy crap. That's the better half's calling. She knows I get off, at 7. I'm like, I told her I got a podcast. It's her fault. Put it on.
It's okay, Mrs. Moser. We're sorry.
Oh, man. I put the phone on Do Not Disturb, but she has the pass-through to just get through.
Oh.
Killing me. No.
Women, I'm telling you.
Come on. Real life, live podcast.
Exactly. That's what you get when it's a real life show.
Yeah. But so no do or die this week, even though it would really bode well for this team if they can get this win. But great spot at 5-6. You're one game out of the playoff hunt at this point. So we'll see. We'll see. We are going to find out a lot about this team. Packers are 3.5-point favorites. Historically, teams that go on the road on a Thursday night lose 70% of the time. So
don't
30% chance to win. So
So there's still a chance.
But can this defense stop Tua? And I love that Teron Armstead got out of the game. He's been phenomenal. He's playing through so many injuries. You have no idea. Yeah, this man, I can't wait until he retires to tell you what he goes through on a weekly basis. Um, man, so it's just special. It's yeah.
The fans
If,
love you,
if
man. The
if
fans
the
love you.
Dolphins win this game, it's going to be a really fun time because you've got the Canes right now going to Syracuse on Saturday, and man, it'd be a special time. You just had the Heat win in overtime last night. Jimmy Butler was
Yep.
phenomenal. Panthers are playing tonight. So man, Miami sports right now is on fire over the last 3 years. It's been really cool, and I get to meet people like you. So
Of course, I know. And we get to enjoy
yeah,
championships, you know?
let's hope
With the
Dolphins need one.
hey, hey, the Dolphins now need one. Exactly. But listen, and I love it. You kind of ran through the whole thing, so I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to and I agree with you. Listen, and I was telling the fans, even this week, like we weren't a good team. We just weren't a good team, but we're getting better. You know what I mean? And I like the progression of what the team is doing, and they're building upon what they've done well and learn from their mistakes in their previous games. That's one of the things that I like. You mentioned something that was actually very, very telling, in my opinion, that we really haven't seen, and it's the fact that Mike McDaniel is holding the players accountable. You saw when Mostert fumble and he the next game didn't get not
mm-hmm.
one. He got two throws, but he
Yeah,
didn't get not one carry. That's telling. He's never done that before, and that was one of my
mm-mm.
main concerns having him as a head coach. Is he going to be too nice and not be able to hold these players accountable? Because at the end of the day, as a head coach, you have to be able to give them direction. So I'm glad that that was one of the points you brought up because I agree 100%. It is so good to see him make those changes and really hold the team accountable. And like you said, with that second team, nope, you guys fumbled. I'm gonna get you out. You're gonna have to try it next time, and then let's get our guys back in. So, that's really
Yeah,
good for me overall. This game, it was a good stepping stone because divisional games are always hard, and that's what you want to do. You want to be competitive versus a division opponent because they know you the best. You play them the most. Now going into the Packers, like you said, frozen tundra. It's gonna be a different level of atmosphere, especially with those Packers fans. Those cheeseheads, they're crazy. I mean, they're super fans. They're
oh yeah,
there, and you see the guys with no shirts, just bare skin, and you're like, dude, I would never. I'm there looking like an Eskimo, and you're just all chest. So,
yep.
but
Lot
I
of
would say,
cheese, a lot of beer,
I
keeping you
like
warm.
exactly. Oh, but I gotta ask, being
Yeah.
that especially that you cover them, if you had to say when it comes to Love, Jordan Love, because I know that was something that was very triggering for Dolphin fans. Ryan Flores wanted him, blah 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 blah. But to take a look at where Love is, this is technically his second year, really, if you think about it as a
Mhm.
starter. Where he's at, and then do you think that's enough for their team to overcome what our defense is currently doing, from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jordan Love, as much as Aaron Rodgers didn't want to hear it, he was Matt LaFleur's guy. That's why they went and traded up to get him in the first round. And remember, he's young, just like Tua came into
Mm-hmm.
the league young. So he is without a doubt worth every penny of the contract that he got. It's very similar to what Tua got. So he's more than enough. I think what really changed this team, as hard as it is for me to say, is the Josh Jacobs move. I love Aaron Jones. He is one of my closest
Mm.
friends. We talk all the time. It was heartbreaking to see what the Packers let him go, and that's just the business of the NFL. But Josh Jacobs, with the ground and pound style that he has, fits what they want to do, especially now that they don't have AJ Dillon, who's hurt. So in a cold weather game, when you need to control the clock and run in between the tackles, Josh Jacobs is that guy. So the Dolphins are opposite that with the outside zone, where they want to move you around,
Mm-hmm.
and the footing. I mentioned the cleats and how hard it is to get your footing on this grass field when it is cold.
Frozen.
A fast start is so key for the Dolphins because these guys are probably going to have to be changing cleats at halftime, and they need to get out there early and figure out what works and how to cut, because anything that works on the field here at Hard Rock is not going to work. And that's
Mm.
something that is like a minuscule thing that no one will ever talk about, but will have a serious impact on this game. The good news is that Zach Sealer is back, And I think that he and Calais Campbell are arguably a top 3 defensive tackle duo in the National Football League right now. I mean, Sexy Dexy in New York is phenomenal. Unfortunately, he's playing for the Giants, just on the wrong team. Of course, I had to say Sexy Dexy. You know,
Of
the
course,
break
of
dance.
course,
Yeah,
of
got to
course,
give him
of
his
course.
props. He's earned the nickname.
Exactly.
And but this is where we want to see Chop Robinson take a step. They've got Rashawn Gary, who's a former first-round pick on the other side that's going to be coming at Tua. And we know Austin Jackson's been on the IR. I think Kendall Lamb has done a phenomenal job protecting Tua's blind side, and especially with how quick they're getting the ball out.
Hmm.
So we're going to see if, the speed really can come through. I'm very curious. I do not know any. This is a guess. Jeff Wilson has not seen the field, and he's been a healthy scratch because they've gone with Jalen Wright. So
Hmm.
be curious to see if they maybe activate him or we see Raheem get more carries here, just because you need to run in between the tackles if the field is a mess.
Mm.
So we go back to Jordan Love. Jordan Love is similar to Tua, but he's very different than Tua. But the style in which Matt LaFleur uses him is very similar to how Mike McDaniel uses Tua. They're going to try to run the ball first. They're going to try to burn you with the play action, and then they have the 3 number 1 receivers, the
Yeah.
non-true. But Reed can
Hmm.
burn you. Watson can burn you. Kraft, their tight end, has been really coming on. But you have 2 extremely similar styles of offense. And then it's basically going to come down to the 3 things that it always comes down to in a football game. One is turnovers. Can you turn them over, especially on the road, which is what you're going to have to
Hmm.
do. Time of possession, can you control the clock? And then 3, it's just going to come down to, can your stars be stars in the big moment? And that's what these games are. And I understand Tyreek Hill is hurt. Tyreek could have called it a season and had surgery on his
Mm.
left wrist with the torn ligament. He's playing through it. I know he's extremely frustrated that his numbers are not what they used to be, but he's buying in, and I think that's why it was so important to see Jalen Waddle have the game that he had last game. And you continue to get the ball to Jonnu, and then you just hope that one time Tua can recognize when Tyreek doesn't have 2 defenders on him, you get that one-on-one
Or
coverage.
4.
Exactly, and then let him go and actually make a play. So if Mike McDaniel can make these adjustments, depending on what the Dolphins do early, and they somehow win this game, I would say that this team has the possibility to run the table. And then they also know that they have a game or 2 in their back pocket to, they're not playing so tight. They know that there's room for error. So again, this is a very winnable schedule at the beginning of the season. Like, it looked like a gauntlet once you got to this point, but the Jets have basically fallen apart. We don't even know if we're going to
True.
see Aaron Rodgers in 2 weeks when they're
No,
here.
they're talking
Don't,
about benching him.
yeah, don't know what's going to happen there. The Texans just lost to the Titans out of nowhere. And then you've got a Browns team that's got Jameis Winston, talking whatever every day. And, that's a very, very winnable game as well. So it's going to be we're going to learn a lot. But this is where I would say that Mike McDaniel is extremely important in this game. You made a great point about his accountability and growth as a head coach. That's been the knock on him, is he's
Hmm.
made mistakes in critical moments, specifically with timeouts, specifically with play calling on the 3rd and goals, when 3rd and shorts. So here's where he needs to take another step and go beat one of his Washington, former compatriots, whatever word you want to call, from the coaching staff, with the tree of, him, Shanahan,
Hmm.
McVay. I mean, this is it. Like, this is a big game, and yeah, we're. I'm excited to kind of sit back. I wish I were there. I'm unfortunately not traveling to this one, but yeah, I'm excited to sit down at the couch and probably do a lot of yelling, like most of you watching this
Yeah.
podcast. And we're gonna do my couch coaching. So, but yeah, this one's gonna be a fun one. I'm ready for it.
That's good. And you know what? I think that this one's going to help the team take another step forward in their growth
Yeah,
overall, just like we talked
totally.
about with McDaniel. And one thing that a lot of people forget, look at how we played versus the Bills. Bills are a good
Yeah,
team. and we were toe to toe with the Bills. And that's one thing that sometimes we get lost in. Oh, you've only been beating bad teams, which is true. That's what you're supposed to do. But look at how we play versus the Bills, specifically away. Not the home one because that was ridiculous, but the one away is the one that I
Sure.
learned the most. We were really only maybe a penalty here or one other play away from really taking that game.
Hmm.
And as frustrating it was, and if I'm not mistaken, that was the safety game. Or no, it
It
wasn't because we lost.
was.
That was the other one. No,
No.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Aaron
So,
Brewer just.
mm, so that game, you know how it hurts because you had that win right there. But I like the resiliency from the team and the offense to continue to fight and take the opportunities that the defense was giving them when getting the ball back. With this particular game, you essentially have two of the same teams being run the same way, like you
Yeah.
said, same mindset by the coaching staff. Um, Now we talked about Jordan Love with Tua. You've seen his progression. Some people are not all the way sold with him, and I totally get it. He's still got a lot to clean up. But being that we're the other half of that same cone, if you will,
Hmm.
where do you think Tua can take the most advantage on that defense that we're gonna be going up against? Because they have a really good D line, so
They do.
it's not gonna be a walk in the park, especially with Clark and Wyatt. So, what do you think Tua's gonna be able to go up against those guys?
I mean, I know no one wants to hear me say this, but it's just a fact. The offensive line is as much crap as we give them. They've done a phenomenal job, and it's because Tua gets the ball out of his hands so quickly. Tua just needs to continue to do exactly what he's doing because now Mike McDaniel and Tua, I believe they are the perfect pairing for each other. There is no better coach quarterback combination. They, I think, bring out the best in each other. McDaniel is the perfect coach for Tua. And now, since he's been back, he's arguably been a top three quarterback in the league with his accuracy, with how he's played. So it's more about what is the defense going to do. Tua really hasn't turned the ball over from an interception standpoint. There's been a couple fumbles here. Ball
Hmm.
security with it being cold is going to be a little bit different. So
Yeah.
element right there that he has to overcome. But he's been good, but again, different with Kenny Clark, the perennial Pro Bowler. Different with Rashawn Gary, who's coming on, and they've got really good secondary as well. I understand Jair Alexander's out, who's arguably a top five corner in the league.
Yeah.
But as cliche as this sounds, like Tua kind of said at the press conference, he's like, "I'm sick of the narrative." Like Mike McDaniel gives Tua the confidence that he did not have under Brian Flores, and I don't know if he ever had it at Alabama when he was the runner-up for the Heisman. So I think Tua mentally is in the best place that he is now. Whether or not you agree that he should be on the field or not is a different question. But from everything we've heard from the doctors, he's good to go. And even if he sustains another concussion, they think that he could potentially be, completely fine. So it's just been kind of like a fluke injuries here with the head. But I mean, if he doesn't miss those 4 games, this team is better than 5-6.
Oh
And
yeah. Possibly like 8-3 at this point.
I think there were very winnable games in that stretch. I know they got the one over the Patriots and they lost the other 3, but yeah, I mean this is like, I hate to say it, it's a measuring stick game. You want to find out how good you are, like you said. This team's gonna grow no matter what, and if you lose this game, they're gonna realize, okay, this is the bar. Like this is how good teams are, and I think that they need that reality check. Um, but again, this team's beaten good teams before. You've got Calais Campbell, who's a phenomenal leader. You've got Jalen Ramsey, who I talked to yesterday, couldn't even stand up. He had ice on his knees after the game. He was that tired. I mean, you have pieces in this locker room, Teron Armstead, that are special people and leaders. So I know it's going to be a tough week, a lot of time in the training room, and their bodies are going to be hurting on Thursday. It's time to just kind of take the Toradol shots. I hate to say it, and kind of get warm and go up
Hmm.
and go do it. And the good news is you get a little bit of a mini bye, and you also kind of know that if you somehow
Say
win
it.
this
Just
game,
say it. Just
just
say
say somehow win this game, you have extra time to rest, and with a broken Jets team coming in, so you got a little bit of room to breathe. So um, yeah, I wish we could just fast forward to Thursday. Just
I
lace
know,
them up.
right?
Let's go. Like I know it's our job to build the hype and all this,
Exactly.
but I'm
It's
sick of talking.
exciting
Like I want to like I'm just really excited just to watch and find out what happens.
because now we're gonna, like you said, we're gonna get questions answered. Are
Yeah,
we gonna be the Dolphins that always collapse in December in cold
right.
weather games versus good teams, or are we gonna finally take that next step and really shut off those narratives and just go out there and win?
Yeah.
And
Here's a
if we
question that I
win,
have that I want to see. It's more for Mike McDaniel. Is this team started fast each of the last two games? They or three games. They scored on the first possession, the third game ago. Then the last game, they
mm-hmm.
scored on their second possession. This last game. If this team plays from behind, where we have these slow, methodical drives, how is that going to change? Because you're not going to be able to, run a 12 play, 14 play, 8 minute drive if you're down 10 points. So starting fast, I mentioned, is a key to this one. So if they're in a situation where they're down and you know that Josh Jacobs is just going to pound the rock, like I want to see how Anthony Weaver and Mike McDaniel handle that situation because we haven't seen that recently since into his second term since he's been back.
Yeah.
So um, that that's a big question. Like you said, the learning experience. Yeah, and it's just like chalkboard material, except probably
This
an iPad now because no one uses a chalkboard anymore.
Yeah. I mean, listen, right now they're saying they have a 66% chance. At least ESPN is saying they have a 66% chance of winning. They're only giving us
Wait,
33% chance.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
The
about right.
matchup predictor saying we're only getting 33% chance of winning this game. So it's not like they're expecting this to be a super blow up because again, the Packers are only favored by 3. So it's really more of an even game and like we've
Yeah.
discussed, but it's still a winnable game.
Oh, for
I
sure.
don't feel like this is a game where it's insurmountable, like, oh, there's no way for us to beat them. I do think that this is an extremely winnable game. And if they're
Yeah.
able to go ahead and get that monkey of their back and actually go out there and perform, I think it's going to be a very defensive game. It's going to probably be a low scoring game, too, in my opinion.
Taking the under. Okay.
Yes, I
All
think it's
right.
gonna be low scoring because you have to think about it, especially if it is gonna be 20-mile-an-hour winds plus, and it's gonna be very very cold. I expect this to be a running game. Now, one
Yeah.
good thing that we have is our running backs, who have been a great, great, great asset to this team, and we have our young guys. But to your
Mm-hmm.
point, having a Moster, having a Wilson
HN.
Jr. to
Yeah.
go in between the tackles, that's going to be very important. And I think
Yeah.
if we do implement that and we can get that run game going, Tua's not going to have to bomb it out 30 yards. He can still do the dinking and dunk and just get those chunk yardage to be able to get the ball down the field and actually score. And your
Right.
prediction, just to get to the player, let's say we do somehow, fast forward, we make it to the playoffs. In
Okay.
your opinion, you've been here before. We've all been here before.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think do you think we have getting these wins? Let's say we run the table and we have a really good win versus Packers,
Yeah.
versus the Jets, versus the Texans, versus Cleveland and 49ers. And we go over there and actually have, let's say, the Bills first round. Where do you think we stand? And that'll be the last question for me.
I'll just say this: if the Dolphins lose on Sunday and the Bills win, the Bills have already locked up the division.
Yeah, that's
So Josh Allen has been phenomenal against the Dolphins, and I understand that Skylar Thompson basically took them within a touchdown to win a playoff game at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. Um, you have to favor the Bills until the Dolphins show you otherwise. They're getting Matt Milano back, who
mm-hmm.
is a top linebacker in this league when healthy. I think he was an all-pro player before he got hurt the first time. He's been hurt the last 2 years. I think they're getting better chemistry with Amari Cooper. Shakir's been good. I understand that their tight end's been hurt. So they're the team to beat.
They're
And
the standard right now.
right now, I mean, I have them above the Chiefs. Quite honestly, I'm really excited to
Oh.
watch Monday Night Football with this Ravens game. I think that the Chargers have the potential to win this game. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those are the top 4 teams, in my opinion, in the AFC right now. I think the Texans are I've kind of fallen off with how they lost yesterday. I put them at number 5, even though they'll get a top 4 seed. They're going to win their division. Their division is
Yeah,
just
they're gonna win the division.
so. It again though, like when the Packers, I had when they won with Aaron Rodgers in 2010, they got in as a wild card team, and they ran the table and they went all the way through it as the it was then a 6 seed. There was no 7 seed then, so it can be done, and it's going to really depend on that first matchup. But let's get there first. You win this game, you give yourself some breathing room. You're very relevant in December at 6-6, and you can win. You can get to 9-8. If you get to 9-8, ideally 10-7.
Of course.
Mike McCarthy, even though this is probably his last year in Dallas, he always had a bar of, once you get to 10 wins, then you can start talking playoffs. And I really like that. So I think, this team, there are 4 wins left here to get to 9. But can you get to 10? And that's where it gets tough. And we're going to see. But I do expect the Packers to win this game. I think that it's going to be a close game. I hope
truth,
that I'm
people,
wrong.
you get the truth right here with Miss Phins.
I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. But again, the reasoning is we have not seen it, and until we see it, I cannot say it. And I hope that I'm wrong, and I really hope that the Dolphins can pull this out. I think it's going to be a great game. Again, whoever wins the turnover battle will win this game. And let's hope that Mostert has a game. I'm kind of thinking that he's going to be an X factor, just because Jalen Wright's going to be your guy in between the tackles, and then they're going to try to get the ball to Achane. But if you can get Mostert involved and just kind of he's your X factor. And I really hope that they load. I really hope that they load up the box and they get you some one-on-one coverage on the outside. And I hope that Tua can find Tyreek. There were a couple times, specifically in the Raiders game, where he missed a couple of people that were wide open. He threw it to a different read. And I want to, if Tua right now could be the player of the month. He's playing that well. And I really hope that they do it. Everything is in front of them to take it. I need to see them take it, because it is literally right there. And I know the fans are probably feeling the same way. And I also feel like in the back of their mind is like, oh, they may lose this game, but they're going to make a run to the playoffs. And as soon as they get to the playoffs, they're going to let us down again, because we've been seeing it for
Exactly.
23 years.
Yeah.
And,
but I can see why you say that.
Believe.
I can see why you say that, to be honest with you, Josh. And I liked your honesty, because sometimes we don't like to hear it. We could be positive. I call it my super homer me. But you also have to be realistic too, based on the opponent, the matchup. And I always go through that in my game review. But I'm going to give you one play. It was Tua threw it to Tyreek on this is the Raiders game. It was quadruple coverage. It was a deep in. And he threw it on, and he was on the right side, lined up on the right side. He threw it to Tyreek. He got it, climbed up for it. But Waddle was wide open and beat his safety on the opposite side. And I'm like, why would you? That's a turnover-worthy play. Thank God Tyreek got it.
Oh, yeah.
But you had the touchdown. That same game. Like, you had the touchdown right there.
Same game. It was in the red zone. It was like 3rd and 3 from like the 10. I forget exactly what it was. And he hit Odell Beckham Jr. on an out, and he got the first down inside the 5. Waddle was wide open in the touchdown. Didn't even see him. And so I'm so happy that Waddle got that game. And I really think, going back to Mike McDaniel, I don't get to talk about this type of stuff on TV because we just don't. But I love that they made Waddle a focus of this last game, because I think they identified that he's constantly beating his man. And that's the matchup they can exploit. But Tua simply missed him in the Raiders game. And by going over that, they said, oh, shoot, I got Waddle. And then for them to say, and go and do it, boom, positive step. Now, I can't say that on TV. But
I get it. That's why you're here.
But that's why I come here. Yeah,
exactly, people. Exactly.
So, we actually get to talk a little ball here. But yeah, so
I love it,
that's
man.
those are my thoughts.
Listen, I appreciate it. I love it. I know you gotta skedaddle. I did see a question someone asked. If you got just a couple minutes,
Yeah.
they wanted to know since you covered Lambeau Field. I've never been. That's one of the stadiums I really want to go to.
Sick.
But they wanted to say how majestic was it to be at like the
Oh,
historical reference of Lambeau Field? Like how was that, for you being there, covering it and things like that? The stadium itself with the crowd and all of that.
yeah. So if you're a football fan, it needs to be on the bucket list.
It is.
And the reason that you need to go to Lambeau Field is simply because there's nothing else like it. If to me, college football, the atmosphere is so much better than the NFL. From the tailgating, the pride that you have, you really
Mhm.
get a sense like this is the entire town, like more the state, like the entire town relies on the money and revenue brought in from the team to support the town. There's basically paper mills, breweries, and then you have that's it. It's very blue collar. But when you roll up to Lambeau, you're in a neighborhood which is so unique. You don't get this anywhere else. You park in someone's lawn. They invite you inside. You have a beer, have a
What?
bratwurst, have some cheese curds. Yeah, you talk
That's
lawn on the
awesome.
lawn. It's it's so cool. The literally like no one works. Like you go to church in the morning, good old football in the
Of
Midwest.
course.
It is a little weird. It's like 98% white. Like it's all white people.
That's
You are
fine.
in the
Nothing wrong with that.
Midwest. Yeah, you're in the
I love
Midwest.
white
It's a
people.
little no diversity.
That's
So
great.
like the first time you see it, you're like, I'm from Los Angeles. So I'm like, okay, a little different.
Oh,
But the nicest people, like the hospitality you get is so special. And the key though is you have to bring like an old like bleacher pad to sit on because you are sitting on a legitimate metal bleacher. And when it is 15 degrees,
really?
it is so cold when you're outside. Like you need something like as a heat,
To
like
cushion.
yeah, when you need like a heat blocker to stop the cold from going up. It is freezing cold. Like it's like a high
Up your
school bleacher
keister?
stadium.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. You go through hand warmers, you go through it all, but like it's great. Like beers are like $8. I think it's like $16 for a drink at Hard Rock. Uh, and then, but you're
Seriously.
man. I mean, for a night game, I mean, they're going to be tailgating from 2 o'clock on. I mean, there's hot tubs that people bring out, and
That's
it. There's just nothing like it, and you make me sad because I wish I were going to this game. There's some phenomenal restaurants up there that I really miss. That a weekend in Green Bay is just a must. There's the Packer Hall of Fame's right there in the stadium. You If you love like the history of Lombardi and football and how much it means to the city, I understand just Dolphins fans, but Miami people are mainly transplants. Like, there's not a lot of like really, really good Dolphins fans. I mean, we're talking the Packers are in the playoffs almost every year. It means so much. And when you talk to the fans, it it brings an appreciation for the sport and for the game. And um, it's just a special place that is just unique unto itself. It's like going to Yankee Stadium, the original one. It just has that lore. It's like Wrigley
hmm
Field. It's just
You
iconic.
feel the history. Like you absorb the history when you're
Yeah.
there.
And it's more like the people, and it's it's just something that you have to experience. So anybody that's going to the game, reach out to me afterwards. I would love to hear about the experience. And yeah, just know that it's just a special, special place. And to say that you were there, um, is something that's very rare for a lot of football fans because very few get there.
That's awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm seeing all
Yeah.
the comments. They're like, oh my God, that's too cold. You are not going
It's
to catch me
it's
in a hot tub.
oh, it's cold. Yeah, yeah.
Next level cold. I love that. I
People
love
literally bring like insulation for a wall and they put it on the seat to then sit on that.
but we
Yeah,
have some really creative people out there then because
yeah.
my
Hey,
God.
you
Oh,
got to
that's funny.
do it.
That's funny. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, And I know you got to skedaddle, but I appreciate you, Josh, for coming through. Guys, if you have not checked him out, he is your main sports anchor, okay? Over there at WSVN, Channel 7 News, reporting live, okay? This man is everywhere. I know you do your show with Drew Rosenhaus, who
Yeah.
practically owns half our team, anyways. You know, he's the agent to like practically
I
have our
got some
team.
inside
I
information.
know, I
I'm just
know.
saying.
That's what I say. Any scoop? Give us a little scoop, just
I you
one little
know
scoop.
I will say this. There's a
Ooh.
little nugget. Well, I mean, it's keep an eye on Daniel Jones. I understand that he was released. The
Hmm.
Dolphins could be a spot for him because right now we know Skylar Thompson's not it. This is a chance to get a rental for the league minimum because he's been released.
Yeah, he's
The
gonna get
Giants
paid
are going
anyways.
to
Yeah.
pay his full salary. So depending on what he wants, his agent wants, if he's willing to sign for the rest of the year, he may want a long-term deal because he would be the best backup quarterback in the NFL right now, as bad as he was on the Giants. So
Even Justin Fields over Justin Fields. Justin
look what
Fields
Russell
is
Wilson's doing.
it's true. But
So
hey,
I don't necessarily know that he would be perfect for Mike McDaniel's system, but you're talking about getting a chance to see what he looks like. Chris Greer, will definitely be making a phone call because he's constantly on the phone doing that. But I would say that that might be a sneaky leak just to kind of keep an eye. But again, it would be up to Daniel Jones to decide who he wants to sign with because he will clear waivers. No one's going to pick up that contract.
I think I saw. I think he already cleared waivers, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken, today.
yeah. No one claimed him.
So
So
yeah,
minimum
so
money, and then unfortunately Xavier Howard closed the door on the Dolphins. They could use him. He hasn't signed with
yeah.
anybody. He's kind of got that off the field stuff kind of lingering, and I know that he also wants a lot of money. Um, but yeah, some decisions will have to be made. I would hope that they would
Mm,
extend Zach Sealer. I would hope that they
mm.
would bring back Calais Campbell. You got to pay Javon Holland. So there's a lot going on all at once, all the time. But
I
most
know
importantly,
it's
got to get a
awesome.
win on Thursday night.
I know. There you have it, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. You getting a scoop here with Miss Phins and Josh Moser, guys. This is what we do. This is why you subscribe. This is why you like and support the channel, guys. But listen, go check him out. He's everywhere on social media. He's on Twitter. He's on Instagram. He's everywhere. Go check out the Moz, okay? Because I know Josh Moser. Telling you, your Moz moniker messed me up when I was doing the
Oh,
the thumbnail, and I'm like, oh my god, I
oh,
got
so
it
good.
wrong.
Yeah. So no,
But
it was my
I
high school
fixed it.
coach. He was so my last name's Moser, but it's spelled with an S, but I did the thing with the Z, so it's the Mose knows.
I
So it's
like
like
that.
Moser. So the Mose knows is I'm a
Hmm.
reporter. And I got some information for the Miss Finn show. So
There you go. There you go.
props
And
to
we got
my high school coach, Uncle Gary. Miss that
shout out
man.
to Uncle Gary, okay?
Yeah.
But listen, we're gonna have you back here, of course, man, because you're amazing, guys. Check him out. Channel 7 News. Josh Moser. He's phenomenal. He is literally everywhere. I got to meet him so many times already. And we've had great conversations. So that's all I gotta say.
We'll see you at that
But
Jets game.
yeah, exactly. We're definitely gonna see each other at that Jets game. But ladies and gentlemen, thank him for me. Thank you so much, Josh, for coming through. And you have a great rest of your evening, sir.
You
Take
got it,
care, and we'll
guys.
see you later, man.
All right, see you guys.
See ya. Oh, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What an amazing, amazing, amazing show we had. He actually went over because he told me he could only do like 30 minutes, but he loves me. So he did a little extra. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we just had that awesome show with Josh Moser. Seriously, go check him out. Main sports anchor at WSVN Channel 7 News. I literally, and I told him this too backstage. I was like, dude, because I was like, come in 5 minutes. And he's like, no, well, I'm going to be live. And then I have like 3 minutes, so I'll come right over. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch you live. So I put on the TV and I was like, I'm watching you live. So this is great. But ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys coming through. Obviously, we're working on getting even more people over here for you guys. So you guys could go ahead and ask your questions. I can't always do it because, there are time constraints, guys. But hey, I know that you guys had some great points in the chat, and I know you guys enjoy this. So, if you're just catching this, thank you so much for coming through. Do me a favor, hit that like button, share, subscribe. You're gonna see a bunch of other great segments, and I'm working on a couple other people too to bring to the channel as well. But you can catch Miss Fins every single Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern, ladies and gentlemen. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern. We're going to continue to do our stuff over here. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys showing your love, man. We are almost 100 people in here. So give me that like, that share, but most of all, go and check out Josh Moser, guys. Check him out. Click on Channel 7 News. He's always entertaining. He's got great inside information. And you're always going to enjoy his show. So please go share him and subscribe to him and check him out as well. I appreciate you guys with the love. Thank you so much. Awesome show. Great host and great guest. Thank you, Lou. I appreciate you. Thank you, Lady Doll Famous fans, for doing this awesome sauce show. Michelle says, thanks for the great content always. I appreciate you, Michelle, Chef Jew. Thank you guys, man. Jafango, nice job, Miss Finch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll tell you this. At first, I wasn't really considering, Daniel Jones, but guys, I mean, I think Michelle, I saw she said it best. He can't possibly be worse than Thompson. So, hey, if that was a little inside track that we got there, you heard it here with Miss Fans. Do not be surprised because I know Greer's always on the phone. The one question is, and this is gonna be the deciding factor, we gotta check it out. Does Daniel Jones have an injury? And if he does, at any point this year, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to be a Miami Dolphin. Because you guys already know. I can't help myself. We know our GM. He loves injured players. So, hey, if you see him ever on that, a Giants injury report for anything, I think that means he's probably 50% coming over here to the Dolphins. But guys, again, thank you so much. You guys have always been the best. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody watching on Twitter and Twitch, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Do me a favor. Come over here to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. We are 440 something people away from getting to our 2,000 goal. We want to do it before the season's over, and we can only do it with you guys. So come over here to the YouTube. So and go ahead and subscribe. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning for Tua Tuesday. We're gonna break down Tua's performance, how he did, answer any of your questions that you guys have, like we do every Tuesday. And then we're gonna continue Wednesday. We got the AFC East show. We're gonna break down those opponents as well in their games at nighttime, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Guys, come check it out. We've got our league wide Wednesdays every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. So come check that out. Wednesday morning, we've got our AFC East show, guys. Thursday, we always do something fun. But because it is Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen, you can see, you can find Miss Fins Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. I still got to decide. Do I want to do Thanksgiving morning? Do I want to do Friday morning? I'm about 80% in and doing it. But guys, I told you, you got to come and support. How do you do that? It's free. Hit the like button, share, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Thank you, man. You guys have been amazing. So go ahead and follow me on all social media and go ahead and we'll see. More than likely, though, if I'm going to be honest with you, I'll probably do Thursday morning. Just don't be surprised if you hear clink, 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 because we're going to be cooking. So that's the only thing that you're probably gonna end up hearing from us. So, but guys, again, thank you so much, and shout out to Josh Moser coming through tonight from WSPN Channel 7 News, reporting live. This is Miss Fans on WMPS. Miss Fans show. WMPS Channel 8 News reporting live or Channel Me News because I don't really, I'm not affiliated with Channel E. Is Channel 8 really a channel? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming through. Take care. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning for Tuesday. Thank you so much. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, and be blessed, be kind, and have fun. And guys, we got this game. We're gonna win this game. And if we don't, it's not as bad as it looks because we could afford one loss and it's non-conference. But we're gonna stay positive. We're winning this game, ladies and gentlemen. So I appreciate you guys. WMPS is good in my opinion. Thank you, thank you. What's up, Lino? It took can't help y'all, and I play as sure as I DJ one either. Bills Mafia. What's up, Bills Mafia? I appreciate you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for coming through. Hey, I love Bills Mafia. You guys are always here, so I appreciate you guys. Anyways, take care, guys. Be blessed. Have fun. I will catch you tomorrow morning. Take care, and as always, bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.